Travis Wayne Goodsell. I was checking my emails. I had already talked with the Adult Protective Services, and because if you haven't been watching the videos, there was a person who filed a complaint saying that I said certain things, and it was just an accusation. They had no recording. They were just saying Travis said this, and my landlord, property manager, threatened to evict me. So I contacted Adult Protective Services thanks to the lawsuit that the church filed against me in 2008. And the guy came over today and gave him the evidence of what they said I said, the email that was sent to me by the property manager, and then I played the recording that I had about what I really said. And it was very clear that what I said and what I'm accused of is nowhere near the same. So it should be an open and shut situation. But because I'm filing the lawsuit now against the church for what they did to me in 2008, the lawyers are playing dirty, because that's what innocent people do, right? They have their lawyers get down and dirty to mess with the case. But this is what criminal organizations do. It was a warning to me. Percy knew I had a recording, and Percy would be the only one who would have filed the complaint. And so it's very clear that he was notified to do this by the church lawyers. And it was a very clear message that I need to withdraw my lawsuit and claim that I'm lying, or I'm going to be punished. Sold up the river, swimming with the fishes, whatever mob terms are used nowadays. So, yeah, this is a serious threat that I'm being faced with, as the deadline for the lawyers just keeps ticking away. March 30th at midnight. You know, lawyers need to stop messing around. If they don't have a case for their client, they need to tell their client, we can't defend you, he's got an airtight case. And I do. I've been showing you the evidence on my videos lately. And so, yeah, I'm just chilling now that the investigator has shown up and has seen the evidence. It was real simple. I gave him a printed copy of the email that says what I was accused of, and I showed him the video of what I actually said. And so he now knows which is which. So the landlord's going to have to remove the stain on my record, but the church nevertheless used Percy as the sacrificial lamb. He's going to be in big trouble now, and I don't know if he's made some kind of a deal or arrangement that he's going to be protected somehow. So I don't know. But yeah, we'll just have to wait now until the next attack. But the church is finished. They're a criminal organization, guys. And I know Mormons don't come to my channel, even though I'm specifically speaking to Mormons. And it's evident as I'm watching a Mormon here sharing his particular views of a very old video I did way back in July 18th, 2017. It's even up to 21,777 views as I'm checking here. But I'm not allowed to use this channel because YouTube violated their procedures, and a Mormon YouTuber employee who's now fired, I understand, from YouTube, was the one who's been giving me lots of grief. But anyway, Mormons, you're not understanding. When I did the video about, I think, was it Joseph Smith prophesying about the earthquake? And I put the, or was it one of the earthquake day videos? I put the prophecies in Doctrine and Covenants, right? It's commandments, actually, that Mormons are supposed to look for the signs. You get baptized into the church, you now look for the signs of the second coming. That's what you're supposed to do as a Mormon. If you convert to Mormonism, it's about preparing for the second coming. We're all about the second coming. Latter-day Saints. There's a reason why it's latter days. We don't say latter days, and then we're going to have to decide, well, now that it's the millennium, what are we going to call ourselves now? No, there's a reason why it's latter days and why the millennium is going to happen. Because you don't have a millennium unless you have the chaos that you're supposed to have. But to give you an idea of how one strain of Mormonism is thinking about all this, and how they're trying to justify dismissing it all, because he throws out a bunch of stuff here that I could do a whole video series on, but I'll read it for you. And because he posted publicly, I will rebuke him publicly, as the proverb says. Trevin Hatch, Mormon name. I had a supervisor named Hatch. Bad dude. Literally. He pretends to be cool, but he's a bad dude. He's a sexual deviant, and anyway, I'm sure this guy is probably his brother. Anyway, highlighted comment. Oh yeah, because I came from my Gmail. He says, "This is downright silly." Silly, Trevor? Really? That's the word you want to use? It's pretty clear, is it? Is it pretty clear to me that Gid, I think you meant to type God. I'm not going to pick on you for typing errors. Everybody makes them. I make them, so no big deal. God revoked the Missouri prophecies in Doctrine and Covenants 124, 49, and 51. Isn't that interesting that he's using this reasoning to justify it? So let me take you guys on a little guided tour of what he's referring to. Yep, so here he goes. He's using a doctrinal principle that's being talked about. Verily, verily, I say unto you, that when I give a commandment to any of the sons of men to do a work unto my name, And those sons of men go with all their might, and with all they have to perform that work, and cease not their diligence, and their enemies come upon them and hinder them. Notice, their enemies come upon them and hinder them from performing that work. If you've gone over my video playlist of real LDS history, you'll understand why I'm laughing about this one. Or I can just refer you to Joseph Smith's 19 July 1840 speech. It's in the Joseph Smith papers. So when you do a Google search, Joseph Smith 19 July 1840 speech, you can find the Joseph Smith papers link, take you right to it. And you'll catch on immediately what I'm referring to. And if you need an extra clue, go to the Last Supper. And then look for Joseph's Last Supper comments. Behold, it behooveth me to require that work no more at their hands of those sons of men, but to accept of their offerings. So, Trevin, if you're really thinking that we're not going back to Missouri and it's now Utah, have you even read Matthew 24 about what God says about following someone into the desert? And the iniquity and transgression of my holy... Oh, let's see, you wanted 51. You didn't want to cover 50. It says, I will visit upon the heads of those who hindered my work unto the third and fourth generation. Yeah, that's what the lawsuit's all about, Trevin. Because my lawsuit will visit upon the heads of the third and fourth generations from the pioneer ancestry. My third great-grandfather, which would be the, let's see, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather. So that's 5 generations. So the prophets are of the age of my grandfather, well, yeah, my grandfather's generation, a little bit younger because my grandfather's now dead, both of them. So take down, yeah, well within the third and fourth generation. So, yeah. The church has hindered God's work, Trevin, if you haven't caught on. And so then 51, sorry. Therefore, for this cause have I accepted the offerings of those whom I commanded to build up a city and a house unto my name in Jackson County, Missouri. Wait, what? God revoked the Missouri prophecies? And were hindered by their enemies, saith the Lord your God. Okay. Gotta keep reading, because otherwise I might start thinking that we're not allowed to watch R-rated movies. Right, Mormons? Because certainly he put a period after don't watch R-rated movies. Didn't he, Mormons? Right, Mormons? He put a period there after that, right? Of course he didn't. I'm a satirist as an LDS critic. Yeah, this was 1841. Yeah. And so they were going back to Nauvoo. Because 1840, he's saying that southern Illinois is supposed to be Zion. And New Jerusalem, even. It's supposed to be 2 separate cities, Zion and New Jerusalem. And they were both supposed to be built in southern Illinois. And so he's talking about Governor Boggs with the extermination order, And so they're at Nauvoo, Illinois. And so, yes, Nauvoo, Illinois. But Joseph Smith was hindered in Nauvoo, Illinois as well, because sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you feel like putting out a hit on Joseph Smith to take over his kingdom, or make it a kingdom after he was only trying to build cities so that he can rescue the United States from all this that's going on. Oops. So, sorry, Trevin. You don't know your history as much as you think you do. He finds a scripture and takes it out of context of the whole, because all truth can be circumscribed into one great hole, Trevin. Remember? And so now he's wanting to insult me now that he thinks he's proven me wrong. This guy acts like every prophet knows exactly when the second coming will occur. Which one of the prophets have said that? Was it Hinckley? Benson? Kimball? Which one, Trevin? Which prophet? Which one thought that they knew exactly when the second coming would occur? As far as I'm aware, since I've been born since 1970, none. None of them have prophesied. Not a single one. The prophets are like the rest of us. See, he's now talking about the real prophets when he's talking about every prophet knows exactly. Wait a minute. This guy acts like every prophet knows exactly when the second coming will occur. He's including me as a prophet, as a false prophet, but now he's talking about the true prophets in his mind. By their fruits you shall know them. They have no fruits of prophesying about the second coming, thus false prophets. False prophets are not just the ones who make bad prophecies, they're also the ones who don't make prophecies and are silent. Remember that video where I put in silent? The prophets are silent? So now he's trying to humanize the prophets. Didn't the prophets come out and say, don't humanize Joseph Smith? The prophets are like the rest of us. They don't know what this guy thinks they know. What? What are you talking about? They don't know, so the true prophets don't know what I thinks they know. They don't. Okay, I think he's trying to be a yin-yang philosopher here, in the sense that the prophets don't know about what I think they know. That's the best I can come up with from what he's referring to here. There's too many pronouns and so, and a lot of missing words. That's why the English language sucks. Just flat out sucks. It's the worst ever language ever invented. And the prophets themselves have admitted this repeatedly. Wait a minute. They don't know what I think they know, and the prophets have admitted that I don't know what I think they know. Huh? I don't remember hearing my name ever in any conference talk where they've admitted that they know me and have spoken my name. Travis Wayne Goodsell. The lawyers won't even mention my name in public. So, I don't think you think who you think you know. Trevin. Oh, God. But yeah, there's so much in this. But he's of the belief that because we're no longer in Missouri, we're now in Utah, that therefore Utah is the fulfillment of all the biblical prophecies. And so, Trevin, what does it symbolize that the earthquake caused the trumpet to fall from Moroni's hands off the temple? I did that video yesterday. It was hilarious. I found the revelation of Joseph Smith's. Joseph Smith prophesied of it. So, yeah. What he's failing to understand from this video, which was a preliminary video, first of all, because I'd only known about lunar eclipses and the deaths of Mormon prophets associated with them. It began with Faust, and then Hinckley, and then the church locked me up for being a translator. And when I got out in 2014, Perry, Packer, Scott bite the big one in 2015 with the 2014-2015 Blood Moon Tetrad. But I thought, oh, okay, that's it. Blood moons, prophets die. Got it. And then Fox 13 News Utah announces on the 4th of November 2016 that there's going to be, many months away, I was kind of surprised they were announcing this. They must not have had anything to talk about that day. But they were announcing there was going to be a total solar eclipse on President Monson's birthday, 21st of August 2017. And that's when I knew. And remember, Mormons, we are commanded to look for the signs. You can't look for signs if you don't know what you're looking for, because when they happen, you don't know. Sort of like the true prophets of Trevin. They never told us because they didn't know what to look for, and they didn't bother to tell us. They were silent. So much for Amos 3:7. But I knew. I was telling people. I wonder what that makes me then, Trevin. And so, another thing that needs to be understood by this video, way back in the beginning. See, this was before the eclipse, but I think I figured out. I don't know if I put the picture in. Okay, there's the eclipse picture. There's the Stellarium eclipse picture. There's my other program's picture. And then I show another one apparently, which must be the date which was Sunday school, where we had the lesson about leaving to go to Salt Lake City, which I thought was very interesting that I had figured that out. Oh, I do. There it is. At 30.04 minutes into the video, I show that I had found the sign of the Son of Man sign in the heavens. What? Yes. And I did it today too. I showed you today. I even say, sign of Son of Man. And I show it to you. I have a better quality one than the one here on the screen. Way back in July. But you know, I've been trying to practice and learn how to use my Stellarium. I got them on all my computers, in case I need to look something up while I'm doing something else with the other computers. And yeah, and so I had figured that one out. I did not I don't believe, I didn't find yet the sign of the dragon yet. No. Did not find the sign of the dragon at that point in time. I had since found it, because I knew it had to be after that sign, the sign of the sun darkening. And so it was just a matter of going day by day, watching the movements of the planets on my stellarium, and then lo and behold, on the 5th dark day of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. Why do they have a dark day? That's weird. And why is the sign occurring on the dark day? But yep, 17th of December, 2017. And then 2018, I had originally thought, because I found out about the stars falling from heaven being the quadrantids from the tail of Draco. That was obvious. Everybody knows that. And so I had originally thought it was in 2017. What I didn't know is that, no, that's when Monson dies. And so sure enough, that's when I put the sign of stars falling. Stars falling. Again, go back to your Book of Mormon, and they have Jesus, and of course Mormons would say, well, the prophet represents Jesus on earth, and therefore the 12 stars are the 12 apostles, which, no. God's people on earth are stars. God is the sun. And so, yes, the stars falling refers to the symbolism of fallen prophets, false prophets, in an apostate church, during apostasy of the church. And didn't quite catch on, I suspected, because I knew what the church had done to me. But I just thought that they could easily be replaced by an upcoming prophet. You know, so you kill off the bad ones, and a good one will show up. I was wrong about that too. Because it's the simple principle of, if you start with a bad seed, every branch is dead. It's a dead tree from a dead seed. Brigham Young had no authority. It's in 124 even, Trevin. You didn't keep reading. And and so yeah, I mean, Mormons, come on. You got to do better than this if you're gonna outsmart me. You got to do much better. You've got to devote yourself to studying beyond what you think you have to do. So yeah, you are now hid from my channel, as you are an apocalypse denier. So there you go. Apocalypse denier is now the new terminology. Man, it's unbelievable. Okay, Gary Prince, no, I'm not gonna. The guy on LinkedIn, I don't use LinkedIn. It's just, I thought I could, because it's for people who have money, who want to make more money in collaboration with others, or find somebody that they need for helping their business, and whatever. It's just not needed. Oh, introducing senior shopping hours. I heard an elderly lady talking to one of the workers today about this. she was very concerned that she wasn't able to go shopping at certain hours. Senior shopping hours. Okay. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we're reserving the first hour of shopping time. Oh, they're extending the hours from 7 to 8 a.m. Interesting. Huh. For customers 60 and up. Well, that's discriminatory. But, yeah, it's clear. I heard them talking about it today. So, yeah, they cut their hours. They normally open at 6 in the morning, and instead they're now open at 8 in the morning until 10 at night. I can't remember if it was 11 or midnight that they stayed open till, yeah, they cut their hours, and then they provide less product, but now they're allowing the first hour to open only for seniors. That's interesting. We're reserving the first hour of shopping time. No, you're not reserving the first hour of shopping time. You're alrighty. Okay. So I've got the rest of Vampire Diaries coming, and Amazon is no longer doing delivery service apparently because everything's getting shipped through the U.S. Postal Service or UPS sometimes, depending on the company selling the product. But yeah, Amazon Primes, you get free shipping, but you don't get the speedy delivery price or delivery pace anymore. Alrighty. And then GoFundMe has been pestering me over and over again multiple times each day. Action required. Set up withdrawals by March 26, 2020. Because I didn't know that I could do Rule 4D for my serving the church with the lawsuit. So I was trying to raise money for to hire a service processor. And I didn't get enough money from that anyway. But yeah, I'm just going to let this die, and the people hopefully will get their money back. Hopefully the GoFundMe won't scam them with the service fee. I hope that's not the case. But alrighty. So yeah, wasn't that fun? Did I even talk about what I wanted to talk about, or did I get distracted? I think it was about Mormons being weird during Armageddon. But now you know why. It's just unbelievable. You know, when things don't happen the way they want it to happen, they then create a mythology of what's supposed to happen. And Trevin decided to go the route of, well, everything failed, so it's not going to happen. Armageddon's not going to happen. He didn't go there, but that's where he would have gone if he were allowed to continue his thought process. And there are Mormons like that, who are apocalypse deniers. You know, it didn't happen, and so therefore, you know, we just live our lives. You know, we have prophets still, Mormons, remember? What are they doing? Oh, they're hoarding hundreds of billions of dollars. That's what they're doing. Oh, okay. Well, they got to give money to Jesus when he comes, because the parable of the talent says so. Oh my God! It's just, oh my God! And so, yeah, I mean, maybe Trevin is going a little more darker. Maybe he's saying that Joseph Smith was murdered, and so that's it. Good lost. And so we're just going to have Armageddon and we're all going to die. Maybe. That's a possibility. The Book of Mormon does warn about that. You know, Ether was the last person alive from his culture to record the destruction of his entire race. or his entire people. And Moroni, again, the last person to record the destruction of the Nephites. So that is a warning in the Book of Mormon. Maybe Trevin is on that line of thinking. He's thinking that all is hopeless, we're all going to die, just waiting until I die. And then God will magically exalt me because, you know, I tried. There are Mormons who believe this. There are Mormons who believe all sorts of nonsense. You know, like the BYU students who go down to Vegas to get married for the weekend so that they can have sex. You don't need to go to Vegas to get married just so that you can have sex. If you're going to have sex, just do it. Read section 132, and I think it's 16. I've forgotten what I was going to talk about after. I knew if I went down the BYU path, I'd forget. 132. Okay. 15 starts the marriage discussion. Yep, here it is. Therefore, if a man marry him a wife in the world, and he marry her not by me, so not in the temples, the Mormon temples, nor by my word, which, you know, the sealers, they have authority, right? In an apostate church, sealers have authority. And he covenant with her so long as he is in the world and she with him. Their covenant and marriage are not of force when they are dead. That's simple. You don't need to get married, Mormons. If you want sex, go for it. If you want to wait and torture the man, and I guess it's tease, and there's a rooster word in front of it. I mean, yeah, and then you're showing your future husband that he shouldn't marry you because you're extorting sex from him. But yeah, and when they are out of this world, therefore they are not bound by any law when they are out of the world. So it doesn't matter. Marriages don't matter anymore. That's the whole thing. I can't get through to my ex. She doesn't understand. Because we got sealed in the temple. She then divorced. Long story. But we're still sealed. But the church used to have the law of chastity where it says legally and lawfully. Because that has to do with the Edmunds-Tucker Act, where the government of the United States came upon the kingdom of Deseret and said, stop polygamy if you want to become a state in the Union. And so the Mormons refused, and were thrown in jail, and then Wilford Woodruff gave up on it, and so the temple text was changed to confess, well, after the Reed Smoot hearings also, to confess that, or show that in the temples they are also teaching Mormons not to violate the laws of the land legally and lawfully. They didn't say anything about the sealing in the law of chastity, legally and lawfully. And so that confused my ex. She didn't understand. Well, we got to be legally and lawfully wedded in order to to be married. I said, no, we're still sealed because the church is forcing us to commit bigamy. I have 2 bigamy counts in my lawsuit. They're at the end. They're not as important as the treason, war crimes, and RICO violations, but bigamy, why not? Throw it in. So, yeah, she didn't understand that, first of all, the church is not true in the first place, and so the sealings are this, verse 15, men marrying women in the world. It's not by God's authority. It's not God's church. God's church has no authority. It doesn't exist. So, sorry, Mormons. You're in a conundrum there. But trying to explain to my ex, we're still sealed. Remember? You had to break your sealing with your ex because you were still sealed to him. And that's one of the abuses against women that Mormons do not understand. You know, men don't have to break their sealing with their exes, no matter how many exes they were allowed to have by the first presidency, to marry someone new in the temple. The first presidency will allow a man to marry as many exes as he wants. But the women can't. Only one man per woman. Now women may think, well, that's not fair. I want to have many men. From a biological perspective, that's not reasonable. It's only reasonable from a sexual satisfaction condition. But, yeah. That's a discussion for my Mormon porn playlist. I have a Mormon porn playlist. I don't remember the exact title, but it's got porn and Mormon, something like that. Maybe LDS, but that's the whole deception on Mormons. Is that first of all, their sealings don't count. They count to the laws of the land because they're a religion. They have religious sealer's a religious person, and so you sign the government document that you take to the courthouse or the civic center or whatever it is, that you pay them money saying, hey, we're married. Okay, we'll now charge you more in taxes. And yeah, the church has a thing not wanting to allow the laws of the land, and the new changes that took place in the temple changes the law of chastity. No more is it lawfully and legally and lawfully. It is now I can't remember. I have to go back and refer to it, but it uses plurals. I think spouses, because that would make more sense rather than wives, to be that obvious and blatant. And it would refer to covenant to both sexes rather than just one. But they use the plural. And so because of the poor quality English language that we have to work with, they are setting up for polygamy. And I've done the videos on that. Because there are tells. This was one of the tells. So you better watch out, Mormon women, because you're going to be sealed to a spawn of Lucifer. So if you like being spawn of Lucifer's wives, wait, go for it. You can have Rosemary's Baby. Great movie, very disturbing, but a classic. Rosemary's Baby. I don't know if Amazon has it available for Prime Video watching. I'm sure it's available to buy. It'll just take a week to get here now. Rosemary's Baby. There's a 2014 version. I'm not sure I've seen that one. Oh, yep, sure enough. Included with your Prime membership, Rosemary's Baby. So, yeah, there you go. I should have Rosemary's Baby in my collection. QR Rosemary's Baby, sure enough. Right under Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. Awesome. That is awesome. That is so hilarious. If you haven't seen Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, that is a must. That is a must. Everybody must see that movie. That is hilarious. And I'll spoil it for you. They're dead. So, yeah, if you're into Shakespearean Monty Python, that's the movie for you. I wonder, should I be funny in my title? Because nobody's listening to me now. I'm just talking to myself. I'll see what I can do with the title. But we're done. So, yeah, BYU students, breed them young. Just give a middle finger to the church leaders. Just be safe. Oh, 385, that's probably my ex. I was supposed to call her.